Father God, we thank you for your kindness in bringing us all together today. Though we may not know what this meeting holds, we know that you do. As we begin, Lord, help us to keep your word in mind. Lead us into conversations that are fruitful and enrich the lives of those who are here today. When we are undecided, please lead us in your wisdom. When our opinions may disagree, help us to remain respectful to one another. More than anything, Lord, would you help us both to seek your will and to pursue your glory through all that we say and do. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, meeting is called to order for agenda business. First is public comment.
No owners.
No public comment. Okay, minutes.
I'll make a motion to, where are our minutes? Right here, I'm sorry. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from our May 4th regular meeting as permitted.
As permitted.
As submitted. Sorry.
And it's April the 18th meeting.
I apologize. I looked down here. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 18th meeting as submitted.
There you go.
There you go. Sorry about that.
All right, so the motion on the floor is to approve our minutes from our April 18th meeting. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item on the agenda is reports. Do you have anything?
As always, best wishes from the Congressman's office. We're always ready to get a letter of support for in-county grant applications. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Randolph County out in the district, and always here to help. Good to see you guys, and let us know if we can help. And our next report will be from Senator Capito's office.
Hi, I'm Todd from Senator Capito's office. I don't really have a report. I'm just trying to get around and make as many connections as I can get. I was talking to the mayor earlier. You know, Senator Capito participates in congressionally directed spending, and saw the county commission doesn't have any outright requests, but there's multiple in the county. I think there's one for like the floodplain plan or something like that. So if we can do anything for you, happy to. But good to see you.
Thank you.
It's a little bit warmer in Charleston today, so I came up here. I was a little bit.
You should have been here yesterday.
Here it comes.
Yeah, should have been here yesterday. It was cold.
He's legit ready to ask you
I
something.
am, saying he's got some money we need.
Yeah, we do need money.
Well, of course, yeah.
We always need money.
There's lots of money out there right now. As you know, the federal government's spending a lot of money. We definitely want it to come back to West Virginia. If it's gonna be spent, we want it to be spent here. So-
That's good, because the mayor's gonna ask us for some money right now, and we're gonna ask you for that money to give to us.
Okay. If we can find a program, you know, to help match. I mean, the earmark congressionally directed spending program is like an annual program. But even if you're not within the time frame for applications, there's existing programs through the federal government that, you know.
The one thing that we should look at very seriously, all seriousness, is the new 911 Mercy Squad
Oh, yes, new.
substation.
We're looking at putting a fourth station in the county for our EMS services. To
Out
where
on
we
the
can,
quarter H, where there, hopefully ever it gets completed, we will have a substation out there right on quarter H.
yeah, that way we'll have quicker response to any crashes, not only in
There's
the
a lot
corridor, but we'll have quicker responses to, Norton, Colton, Jimtown, Cassidy and them areas there as well.
Cause the county's already gonna go ahead and, partner with the squad and purchase land 50-50, and then we're looking at then doing bids for the, proposal for the building, the structure.
Okay.
So, yeah, then once we get the structure going, that would be helpful.
What's your time frame?
We're buying the land probably as we speak.
Yeah.
On our next, I think we'll have it approved at our next meeting, and then, we'll, you know, have to be bid for the, designs. So year or so probably before we get.
Well, so we're just going through, we're right now in the kind of the middle of the earmarking process where we actually just submitted our request last week. So it won't be until probably, I would say next, January, February, or March before you start to see that open up, back up again.
Okay.
But we've had a lot of success with fire stations, cruisers for police cars. We've got.
Don't say that to him, cause he goes through them like water.
two or three 911 centers we're working on right now. But But there's also existing programs for all that.
We have another one there with Whitmer Fire Department, where they're building their new fire station and stuff and adding on to it, and then the law requires that, they changed that law and it requires that they have to have fire suppression system inside of it, and they're short by, what was that, 40,000-50,000? Something like that, so that's another project that we'd probably like to have some help with,
Okay.
to get them.
Well, I'll get you my card afterwards, and then
Sounds great.
You wanna give it to them, or I give you a couple cards, and you can pass them out to those folks. They're more than welcome to email me, and then I can connect them kind of. I'm like Rhett, I'm just kind of the guy wandering around West Virginia. We've got a team in Washington DC who handle grants and, you know, appropriations requests and things of that nature. So I can connect everybody together and see if we can help you out.
That'd be great, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for having me.
But also, just real quick, I'm Todd, I'm sure Todd will, affirm this. You know, there was some movement in the General Assembly when it came to, some bills trying to get, funding for emergency, services when it comes to ambulances and whatnot like that, and it didn't pass. So, I mean, at least people were talking about, emergency services money. I mean, we always have the AFG grants, we have the COPS grants, we have the USDA stuff and everything like that, but one of the neglected things that we see is the rescue squad. The average trip is 65 miles for an ambulance. We're all the time mutual aid assistance. I'm sure the sheriff can affirm this about how much, you know, Tucker County's got one ambulance, 2 paramedics, and they're all the time talking about it. So, hopefully in the spring, that'll pick back up. And I'm, you know, everybody's gonna continue to talk about it, so.
Well, we wanna support Kurt and his team, he's fully staffed, and so, and they're, like I said, we wanna try to get something on the board.
He's done a great job with that department, and we'll
He does.
continue to help him.
All right, Mayor, do you have anything from Elkins?
I'll wait until I start talking, how's that?
All righty, Sheriff?
Neither. No report.
Brenda? All right. Correspondence, huh? Oh,
Shauna.
sorry, she's not on the agenda?
No, it was kind of a last minute decision with our 911 advisory board. We had Motorola in yesterday and they quoted us a new CAD system. This is the quote for us, the sheriff's department and EPD to go on board with these guys. Right now, the next stage is them waiting on.
EPD,
Yes.
we're not paying for Elkins.
No, it's not. I'm just trying to
We're paying
explain
our
it. They're interested in going onto the system with us as well, so that, all of our agencies can work together.
All right.
And we're
Yes.
helping you get a better rate, by the way, correct?
All right.
So,
I mean, hopefully.
Good Lord.
If
Okay.
this helps anything, when I worked for Barber County, we bought a brand new CAD back in 16 and we spent over $500,000 just for the 911 center. So in reality, that number that you're looking at is not anywhere in comparison to what we would have paid in 2016, so it's not too bad.
I was told by the rep yesterday that is a list price as well.
Yeah.
And where we have Motorola radios like on our sides, things like that in our cars, that they start to apply discounts because we're a Motorola user, and that should not be the final price.
And you guys use Motorola, don't you? This is, no, 668, that's the,
That's the grand total for
That's-
all 3 agencies to go on board.
oh, okay, that's even EPD in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think our share is like 280 list. I think theirs
Ours is like
closer to-
260.
Okay.
They have the evidence part on theirs is what kind of makes them a little bit more expensive than us because we don't have the evidence side. Yesterday I made sure to ask that question to clarify. We can keep dispatch from having access to the evidence stuff, so when the sheriff's department's logging their things, it can be seen only by his guys and not mine. Unless they want to close a case out so that then we can see kind of like what transpired, what happened. So if we get a FOIA or something like that, we can look and see if it's something we can release yet or not. But that way it keeps their stuff private and separate from us. So.
We can submit final reports
Yeah.
that they can see, and then if they get a FOIA request, they just attach it with what they have and it's gone.
And Kurt was explaining to me that when he gets a call on that, he can just hit his computer as they're responding, and hit the button if they're there, hit the button when they're leaving, hit the button when they get to the hospital, and never has to do any radio contact.
Yeah. And it's almost like a 3-second delay between him doing it and us seeing it in the
So
center.
that'll clear up
So
radio communications and make it a little bit
It will
easier
give
for
us the
dispatchers.
ability in our vehicle to, if they dispatch a car wreck, I can just reach over to my computer and say I'm en route, and they'll see it on their screen
Yeah.
real slick.
We can set that up for them, the issues we've been having with EMS with their,
Doctor's appointments.
schedules and stuff, we can, that set up like an automatic tone too, right?
Yes, so actually,
Okay.
his guys can put it into the system, so it'll generate and populate for us later on down the road when that appointment is up. And then we can actually have it to where it'll make a noise, cause right now it just pops up on the screen, if you're not sitting there looking at it, you
Yeah.
don't see it. So this system actually would make a ding noise to draw your attention, so you could see that you've got this call. We drop their tones to send them, and then they just continue the call on their side with it. Now they're en route to that doctor's appointment, they've picked up patient.
Plus that frees you all up to where you don't have to put it in, correct?
Correct, yeah.
A lot of color coding too, like if I say I'm en route, it'll come up on her screen and it'll show like a yellow highlighted space that says
Mhm.
100's en route. So they can just monitor, they don't have to do anything, and it's being made part of that CAD automatically.
The
And they'll
nice,
have to enter it.
the good thing too about the price for the 911 center itself is the fire and EMS is included in our price. So our 10 fire departments and our EMS don't have to pay a cost to get on board with this, other than equipment for their trucks, or if they want it in their fire station or whatever, however they would like to have it, which helps save some costs for them, obviously, with being volunteer as far as the fire departments go, not having the funds to jump onto something like that.
So how old is our current CAD system?
They went to that when they went to the new building.
Which is how old?
6 years old.
To be honest with you, that system was junk when you bought it.
Well, and we are
Where were
the.
you at 6 years ago?
I was still working.
So in this, as I was telling them during the 911 advisory, I am now the northern liaison for a TERT team here in West Virginia. And we did a map of what all the centers have as far as CAD systems, radios, things like that. Randolph County and Kanawha are the only ones that run this CAD that we currently have right now. Everybody else has gone to Motorola, Caliber. I mean, there's other CADs that are more popular, but Motorola is starting to take over the state of West Virginia with that.
All right, so what would be the life expectancy of this if we invest, they're gonna invest, almost $750,000?
From it being a Motorola standpoint, they dominate the emergency services field. Most things are Motorola that last. With this, anytime they do an upgrade, we're not charged for that upgrade. They do what's called patches I think it's every quarter, they do a patch. You're down for like 15 minutes or so, and you have to kind of go back to the paper type of dispatch, but they do a patch and you're upgraded to the most current version of their system, and we never have to pay for that
I
upgrade.
think he told me their upgrades are like every 5 years, where they
Like major.
major upgrades are every 5 years.
The good thing is with this system though, is gonna help save, I honestly think it'll help save lives and make the dispatch job a lot easier, take a lot of stress off you guys, and then make everybody work more together, really. Everything will be more like a fine-tuned machine at this point.
We had looked at this system, the sheriff's office did, we got a quote for it, a couple, 2-3 years ago. I had asked Brad to entertain it because this, RMS system we use for reporting is horrible. When I got here, I'm an old dog, but I can usually pick things up. That was just terrible, this whole system, and, so Brad actually got us a bid on it, and I think it was the same price 2 years ago as it is now, basically. And it was just, to me, it was out of, just too much money for me to try to talk to you guys into doing that without the comm center coming on board.
Well, I guess that's.
But if they're gonna
911
switch-
people Pay for this.
Yeah.
Pay for theirs.
Pay for anything that has to do with 911 emergencies.
If it's
It'll
an
pay for-
enhancement for, radios.
We can pay for the sheriff's department's section with that
Or
later.
most of
part
it.
their
And there's
radio, yeah.
lots of things that this CAD can do that we can't do now. So say dispatch is sitting in the office and they have something maybe that's radio sensitive that they don't wanna put across the airwaves, they can actually instant message the officers and send them that information.
Where they're now telling us, hey, can you call them? They can just
We don't have to do that. We
send us
just-
a text.
Maryland State Police been using a system like this for close to 20 years now.
And we were,
We're that
Tuesday
far
we were in
behind.
Raleigh County, they've got it, they were showing us, and there's different layers that we can put on the map, so they actually have their coal mines map down there, they have their hiking trails, their ATV trails, so if they have something in any of those, they just put that layer on the map and then are able to view that, and the same thing like with robbing them in their vehicles, they can put those layers on that map and see it too, if they're doing a rescue or something like that.
It also shows the comm center, if I mark up on a call and I'm heading toward Valley Head, it will show that I'm en route, where I'm at on the map. Pretty slick.
So how much do you have in the 911 fees for that? I mean, will they pay for all this?
I don't know how much is in the account right now, but I know when we increased the fees last year, we were gonna see over $500,000 in just landline. That's not including my cell line. That's actually getting ready to increase July 1st as well. We haven't heard how much yet from the state level, but that's also increasing.
There should be plenty to cover.
So you can find out for me. All right.
Okay.
We'll consider it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Did I miss anybody else? All right. Correspondence. Announcements. Our next meeting will be May the 18th at 1:30. All right, so items for action discussion. We have an informational presentation request for assistance from the city of Elkins. Is the town of Harmon with you? Just you? Just you. Regarding the Whitmer Water Association. And this is your project, right?
Huh?
This is your project.
Yeah, he kind of started this.
One, I pushed it off to somebody else.
Yes, you did. I'll try to be respectful of your time today, but I kind of feel like I need to tell you a little bit of the history of how we got to where we are today. Back in November, I think the county commission filed on behalf of the Whitmer Waters, for the city of Whitmer, for them to be a failed or distressed utility. When that happened, the PSC then sent out orders to the city of Elkins, city of Harmon, Midland, and Huttonsville to see if there was any assistance they could provide. And whenever the PSC sends out an order, we are obligated to reply to that. And it looks like we're probably going to be getting, I guess, handed the baton, if you will, pass the baton on this. However, there's some things that have to happen before that can take place. We've met with some folks in Charleston to say, you know, what can you do to help us? Because we can't cause the city of Elkins to incur any cost on this, since it's going to be a enterprise fund. We have to make sure that it's sustainable and that whenever they're ready to transition it over, that it's up and running. So there's going to be funding hopefully available from Charleston on that. There was a hearing by the judge over at the city hall. They brought a judge in for that actually, to hear Whitmer's side of it, and that we kind of testified that we're willing to partner with Harmon on this to make this happen. I think Harmon had considered it, but then after Jerry Teeter, the mayor over in Harmon, thought about it, he said his health is not good right now. He's looking to step down soon, and there's nobody stepping up to take over his water system. So then we were approached about taking over Harmon's water and sewer system, but that'll be another issue down the road because they have to file paperwork. So I would say, to make a long story short, but we're way past that. So to make a long story longer, when the judge finalized his hearing on the 19th, he has until June to come up with a ruling. After that ruling, that will get sent to the PSC. The PSC will then have so many months to make their final determination. The problem is the citizens in Whitmer are in a very critical condition right now because they have one of their filters is completely clogged, and if the other one goes down, they're without water. We can't enter into an agreement with them because we don't have the authority, and they currently don't have a board right now. They currently have no water board because it dissolved. So I know you guys filled out the paperwork, but we're gonna ask for you guys to continue to help Whitmer until we're given the green light that we can actually enter into an official legal agreement with them, is what we're asking for. I don't know what that cost will be at this point. It's whatever their water needs are, is what it comes down to. So I'm kind of speaking on behalf of the citizens of Whitmer instead of the citizens of Elkins, but from the citizens of Elkins, we wanna make sure we're not making that cost fall back on them as well. So it's gonna happen. It's a lengthy process. I'm told this can take up to a year. So you filed in November, I believe it was, Chris, when we spoke about it. We may be settled by then. The only saving grace on this, and I think the reason we're in a better light, is because all parties agree it's the right direction for this to go. So there's nobody coming back and saying, no, we don't want it to go to Elkins. Everybody's kind of in concurrence that that's the direction. So the fact that no one's gonna be sitting there and objecting to it, I think will expedite the process, but I don't know. I mean, we kind of feel like that's a better resolution for us, but like I said, they still have their time frame that they're allowed to work within. But like I said, we've done our due diligence to try to go, on everybody's behalf and find funding to get their system up and running. We've also been meeting with the engineering firm that's working in Harmon right now to see if there's a way to connect Harmon to Whitmer in the future so that there's some backup wills in place. So I know you guys started that process. Yeah. That's about a $3 million project. I mentioned that in Charleston and they didn't really blink. They kind of said, okay, and I don't have anything official, but they didn't blink at 3 million, which kind of shocked me. They didn't blink at the
They got
750,000.
$1.6 billion overreach. That's dropping a bucket.
The good thing about Whitmer is they got a fairly newer system in there. It's
Right.
just
It's
due to
about 2
lack
years
of
old.
funding, it's
Right.
not been maintained correctly because they just didn't have the money to do it.
Well, and they have volunteers, quite frankly, that
Yeah.
are treating the water, and they don't desire to continue doing this. The one gentleman, he had a death in the family, so he's wanting to really step away from this and focus on life. And the other gentleman says it's getting too hectic for him to come home from work and then have to go manage the water system. And then, by the time he gets home, he has dinner and he's exhausted. So, we're willing to do what we can to be good stewards of our community, obviously, but the concern we have right now is we can't legally enter into an agreement until a final decision's made, and that we're making sure that we're protecting our citizens and Elkins as well, so that cost doesn't come back to them. So we're just asking for you guys to continue to partner with us and work with Whitmer until we can get the green light to go forward. So when you say I'm asking you for money, not technically, I'm just asking you to take care of your citizens in Whitmer until we can.
I figured you was coming today for it, but okay, we'll wait till next time.
Oh, you'll know when I need money. So, I mean, if you have any questions, I'll try to answer those, but like I said, that's kind of where we are right now.
It
So.
sounds like we're in the same place where we was in November,
No,
basically.
we're a little bit further along because we have had the first.
No, I
hearing.
mean, as far as their
their system.
needs up there
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah. I mean, and like I said, my concern, because our guys actually did go over, our water guys, our chief water operator, and a couple of the guys went over and did an assessment of the system. And their biggest concern is the fact that you have one filter down. And if the other filter happens to go bad,
Can they fix that? I mean, can we subcontract with you to fix it?
that's where it gets kind of hazy because we're not sure who we can subcontract with, since they technically don't have a government entity over there anymore because their board dissolved.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
was-
where
Whole thing over there is screwed up right now.
But I mean, would it fall back to us though?
it probably would, to be quite honest with you. So I don't know if there's a way that the county commission could partner with us on that, to be honest, and that's what we're looking at and the legalities of
Can you
that.
find out what the, PSD board, state?
We can find out, see, what we need to do is find,
See if we're-
get a cost of repairs and go from there.
Well, yeah, but we need to make sure that, like I said, if the filters are, we need to get them cleaned and get them
If we can get a new filter in there.
viable until
Right.
Elvis takes it over.
Well, and you do have four new customers that are looking to join the system over there, but there's no one there to connect them or dig the lines or anything. So I mean, there's room for growth, I mean, is what we see.
Yeah, there's one fellow that I'll have to send you his number. He's been after me for over a year. And thank God he's been patient.
Right.
He lives in Morgantown that has a camp up there, or a cabin up there, and he's already paid his hookup fees.
Wow.
And then, but there was no money to hook them up or anything, even after he paid his fees. So it's kind of a bad setup up there.
Well, can you find out if we can
Subcontract
oversee
with
it?
Elkins?
Yeah, and have them
Yeah.
do any necessary repairs until Elkins takes it over. And then, like I said, we'll do the funding for it.
Yeah, I'll check with him.
All right, make sure we can do that.
Like I said, I mean, we're not trying to build a utility empire, trust us, I mean, but we're trying to be good stewards for our community and if our,
We
you know.
appreciate what you're doing.
Well, I mean,
Well, the way that PSD works is if they tell you you're taking it over, you're taking it over.
Well, yeah, and I understand you from the conversation we had previously was whenever you called the PSC and they said, yeah, we're gonna push it off on someone, so, yeah, thank you, Commissioner.
I never dreamed it would be you guys. I figured Harvard would be
No, I
the
mean-
ones.
I mean, well, it probably would have been if Harmon had stayed up and running, but since they're not
Yeah.
going to, and, I mean, Mayor Teeter kind of feels that if he's wanting to get rid of, or push Harmon on, just the timing's right, because we're already coming into Whitmer, so let's go a few more miles.
That was our last conversation with Jerry. My last conversation with him was plan to try to hook the two systems together
Right,
and run it, and that's where I left off when we did our, filed our complaint, thinking that that's where it was going. And then it was after that was filed that you guys ended up getting drug into it.
right. Well, we're still trying to follow guidance from Charleston, the PSC, on who should be applying for funding, because being smaller PSDs, they would probably qualify for more money than we would as the city of Elkins. So if they can go ahead and qualify for that, then whenever we come in, we assume that as well. But we also assume their bonds and their debt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is that.
The problem with Whitmer, they have no board, so they can't apply for nothing.
Well, I think they're trying to get back in good standing now with the state so that they're actually recognized as a municipality again. And then Paul will be able to
Okay.
apply at that point in time. Because we're trying to figure out if we can still use the same engineering firm that Harmon's using, or if that has to go out for bid again. And there's just a lot of questions that we have regarding that, and it will probably have to go back out for bid again, but, I mean, it just may be a modification on that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just a lot of moving parts. Like I said, I felt like I needed to tell the story of how we got here. Like I said, we didn't raise our hands, we were handed this, you need to reply to this order. So,
Yeah, that's an unfortunate part about that.
like I said, once we have updates, we'll keep you guys aware of it and keep you
And
abreast.
he'll
of it.
follow up, and make sure, and then we'll let you
Yeah,
know.
I'll follow up down there, call them, see if I can get hold of somebody and see what we need to do, and, if we can subcontract with you guys, then fund it and have you guys fix it, or however we can do it. If we can do something like that, then we don't have to pay an outside
Right.
entity to come in, it'll be a hell of a lot cheaper for all.
Well, and the good thing about it, our guys are very familiar with those systems, both of the systems over there, both Harmon and Whitmer. So
Okay.
they have a lot of familiarity with those. So, yeah, the learning curve there is non-existent. So
Okay.
they're very comfortable working on those systems.
All right, I'll call them and I'll let you know.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you.
All right, next item is consider approval of the resolution for the cops hiring grant. It's your turn.
Yes, sir. I got an email about a cops hiring grant. Asked Peggy to look it over. Got your guys' blessing to at least pursue the grant. She has it prepared and it's ready to go. What this would do would allow us to hire 3 deputy sheriffs for patrol to cover the county. Our activity from last quarter 2022 to this quarter 2023. I gave you guys a readout on that. It's pretty significant, the amount of calls that we are answering and taking. And there's no guarantee we'll get this grant, but it's an opportunity to add three law units on the road to take care of the folks in the county and to provide a better service.
What's it pay per year?
It'll be a starting salary for, if it's a certified guy that tests and comes in, they'll start out at like 44. Basic guy that doesn't have any training at all will start out at 40.
I mean, the grant, what's it pay up to a year?
I don't know, it funds all 3 positions. I would have to go back and read the fine tuning on that. She has all that paperwork and has been working on it, so I'm not exactly sure what the amount is.
But it covers all the needs that we need for hiring, or just salaries?
It's the salary part
Just the
of it.
salaries, okay.
So we still cover the benefits?
We would have to cover the benefit.
The vehicle and equipment and,
Yeah.
okay.
He would have to cover the benefits.
Yeah.
Not we.
We still gotta give him money for a car.
I still gotta ask you guys for vehicles, so.
She went to go get the grant to see exactly how much
Okay.
it would pay, so. All right, so then this would be for 3 years, right?
It would be for 3 years, and the way I understand it, you have to agree with this grant that you keep those guys on for 1 year afterwards. And the way it's looking right now with attrition, with my senior deputies that have been here for a while, I'm definitely gonna lose one within a couple years that's gonna retire. And then there's 2 or 3 right behind them that within another year or so after that could also retire.
So by the time that 4th year is over, we may be completely,
We may be back to square one again.
thank you. It covers 75% of your current entry level salary and fringe benefits. Maximum grant per officer be $125,000.
So you get $125,000 per officer per year?
Over 3 years.
Over 3
For a
years.
3-year
Yeah.
period.
So
25% local match.
375,000?
Yeah, we got 25% local match. Must retain each position hired for an additional 12-month period after 3-year grant period. Deadline, May 4th, May 11th for application.
Our match will, of course, be weapons and uniforms and
Yeah,
vehicles and things like that.
that's where our 25% comes in.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, so I have a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for the cops hiring grant as presented.
Motion on the floor is to approve the resolution for the cops hiring grant as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Rob's not here yet.
No, he had a hearing at 1:30, but said he would come over
All
afterwards.
right, we'll hold on C and D until he gets here. Consider approval funding request from our town. Priscilla?
Well, I am here to ask for money again, $5,000.
Yeah, but we like you. So,
You know, I don't know if you remember that 5 years ago, the car show almost died. There was no sponsor. So there were a very small number of people who thought it was important. And they got together and they created a new nonprofit, Our Town Inc., and an affiliated organization, the Mountain State Street Machines. And that's where our town got its beginning. It's expanded into other things, but it was to save the car show. So we've been diligent with our planning this year, and we agreed early on that we needed to expand the activities that were available. And so the first way we expanded it with concerts. We have 3, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. And Saturday night is Rick Kay. And Tammy told me this Tuesday that the last time he was in Elkins, he drew 1,000. And I thought, where are we gonna put him? But beat that as
we'll put them in hotels outside the city limits, so we can collect hotel motel tax.
Maybe we'll give him a discount. Give him a discount.
Yeah, stay outside the city.
So, you know, and the other one, Thursday night, West Virginia, we don't have Fort Jackson, we don't have Fort Campbell, we don't have Camp Lejeune, but we have the 130th Air Wing Lift, and we have the 167th Airlift Wing. It's in Martinsburg, 130th in Charleston. So we are having the Air National Guard touring band on Thursday night to recognize the service of these people to our state. It's exciting. It's a 35-member band. I'm actually meeting with them Monday, their advanced team, and we'll know more. So we think we have a fantastic entertainment. And we've got kids' activities. We're creating an obstacle course. We're inviting them to bring their wheels and drive our obstacle course and see if they can make it without hitting something that won't hurt them.
You gonna do it?
Mine.
You know, and we've got some things planned. We're working on some things, more activities for the adults. We'll also have a scavenger hunt for the young people. This is a commercial. Edgar, would you please put this in the paper?
Take her picture.
I got her.
Our town really wants to have food vendors and craftspeople, so we're soliciting. You know, you got a nonprofit, you wanna make some money, come to the event, set up. So it's, you know, they can leave a message on Facebook for us, ourtownelkins@gmail.com. Send I wanna come, we'll get back to you. So we'd like to get the word out. We'd like to have a good group of vendors. And as you well know, what is 4th of July without fireworks? And we will have the largest ever fireworks show on Saturday night. And we're actually starting the Rick Kay concert late so that he plays up until the time the fireworks start. And the Randolph County Commission is the sponsor of the fireworks, along with Enterprise Holdings Foundation.
Do we get to light the first firework?
Hey, you're gonna have, what's his
Wouldn't
name?
it be a picture?
You're gonna,
Would be fun.
you know, I mean, we'll ask. If
We'll
it's
give you the
legal,
money-
we'll
give
let
you
you
the money
do it.
gift, and you get to light the first firework.
You're related to the Zambellis, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
You're related to the Zambellis, aren't you?
Probably.
Honest, we will try to get you
That's a good
as
picture.
close to us as
Are you
possible.
I'll be there if you light it.
But can you do it with a bow?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He probably could with a gun.
I might be able to. Maybe.
Then Enterprise, we thank the Elkins Enterprise car rental, because they are the ones who gave us notice of this grant opportunity. So we're very appreciative of them. So 5 years ago, when our town formed, they said that they were here to make Elkins a good place for residents and visitors. So we are being more strategic about advertising to try and bring more visitors to the area. And we have done it. We are now paying to boost every our town ad, and we can actually pick and choose, we can pay more and boost it further. So we're doing that, every single thing, including the car show. We have been asked several times. Our town has already appeared. The Channel 5 has that new 4 o'clock show. We've been there twice. We have a request to do another one for the car show and 4th of July activities. And then we have a request from WBOY to do a more general one about the concert. So we'll be doing both of those. Every time somebody asks us, we are saying yes, then we have to get somebody to agree to go and do it. So we are trying very much to do what we can to bring people to Elkins, be it through our activities or through, whatever they might hear. We were heartened. Actually, tonight's the first concert. And when we put the ad up last week, since then, we've been very heartened by the number of people who've looked at it, and more importantly, the number of people who've shared it is quite high, which means that there's more interest and impetus. So it's gonna be a fun time in Elkins on the 4th, and we thank you very much for all you have done for us and for considering this request.
Well, thank you very much. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the funding request from our town in the amount of $5,000 to be taken from hotel motel.
Motion on the floor is to approve the funding request from our town in the amount of $5,000 to be taken from hotel motel. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jerry, you think you can do that?
He'll do the commercial.
Get another 5,000?
No, he'll probably get to light the fireworks. He lit the Christmas tree.
We'll get him to get another $5,000 for you, okay?
No, but in all seriousness, bringing the people in the town and into the county and staying in the hotels is what's helping us use that
Be
hotel
able to do
motel
these
tax
things.
to pay for the fireworks.
Yeah.
So we appreciate what you guys do, because it is, downtown's packed when they.
Well, what you do is not just helping you guys, it helps whole county, cause it's
it
bringing us,
brings people
funding to-
downtown, which.
brings us funding
for
to
the
help
Small
everybody.
businesses, they buy stuff down there, gives the extra tax revenue to the city, to the
Yeah.
county, so we appreciate it.
Our portion
Thank
of
you.
the CBD was up $30,000 this year, so that's tremendous.
Wow.
So we're finally past COVID, I think, and people are willing to get out and travel, and this is where they're
I'm
coming.
tired of it.
Yeah, I was tired of it from day one, but.
That's a whole nother story.
Do you have a request though?
I do. I don't have an address. Can you give us an address? Priscilla. Priscilla.
Do you have an address for us?
316 Railroad Avenue, Elkins.
Okay.
Is that our town's address?
Yes, we use the Del Monte.
Okay, so that's what we'll get to check mail to.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, so Rob's here now, so we're gonna go back up to see update on Tigers Valley Parks and Recs land dispute.
Okay.
I think we should probably go to executive session to discuss that.
All right, got a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go to executive session.
Motion on the floor is go into executive session. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so I ask anybody non